Alright, this is a quick video on how to do Dire Maul North solo as a hunter. Before you start, you want to make sure you have your pet revived, ready to go, and you want to make sure that you're spec'd into improved Feign Death. You can still get resists, even with improved Feign Death, but it helps pretty dramatically. I'm going to dismiss my pet before we go in. So the patrols in Dire Maul North are static. They'll always be the same. You just want to make sure that, once you have the timing down, you can do these runs consistently in about 16 minutes. If you happen to miss a patrol or you die in the middle of the run, some of the timing is going to be slightly off, and so you're just naturally going to have a slower run. I'm going to try and talk through this along with the timing. So right here, you want to wait for these guards to pass. We're going to run up this little ramp here, and this crack on the ground is going to be kind of our guide. So you want to follow this crack on your right, and then you want to leave these cracks over here to your left. And you don't really want to walk any further than about here, otherwise he's going to aggro you. You want to pop into Shadow Meld. We're going to wait for this patrol to go by, and then the brute who's stationary next to us, he's going to start walking. Once he makes that break to the left, you can take off. So we're going to run up here, grab the key, and we're going to make a fast break for the door. There's a patrol over here to the left, but we have plenty of time. One thing, the door has some kind of weird nuances where sometimes it says it's not in line of sight, but if you stand right where I'm standing, you usually don't get that error. So the wandering eye will always be approaching you. You want to take that out first. I like to hop into monkey just to avoid getting hit here. Throw up a scatter shot on the Reaver, run past it. When the Warlock is casting a Shadow Bolt, you want to make sure you wait until it's cast before you feign. If you feign death while he's casting, he might get the cast off after you feign, but before he fully resets. So you'll feign death, the Shadow Bolt will cast and hit you, and it'll put you back in combat and kill you. So it's better to just take a little bit of damage there and wait to feign until after it hits you. So here, once your feign death's at about 6 seconds, you can move forward. I'm going to scatter the Reaver again. Same thing, we're going to let the Warlock Shadow Bolt hit us. I like to feign right there in the doorway. I'm going to go ahead and call our pet out. And we want to start taking out these trash mobs over here on the left side. I try and let my pet pick them up. Got a little careless there with my health. So after you take out the first couple, you're going to want to, you don't necessarily need to dismiss your pet, but there's going to be a wandering eye that's coming. Same thing, you're going to kill it, it's going to drop combat, and then those bugs will charge you and put you back in combat, so you need to wait until you see them start moving towards you before you actually feign death. So it looks like my pet got bugged somehow and he doesn't have any skills right now. Hopefully that's not a problem for the purposes of this run. Alright, now we've got a clear path to run up the side here, so we are going to dismiss our pet. Took a little bit more damage than I'd like, so I'm going to need to drink, or rather eat, and you're going to want to let Venom Sting wear off because the damage can pull you out of Feign Death, I believe. So you'll see Slipkick is patrolling towards us. We're just going to wait for him to pass. As long as you're behind this little mark in between the pillar, he won't aggro you. Alright, we're going to hop into Cheetah here. This pull can be kind of tricky. You just want to run in, scatter. If you get too close, if you peek around the corner, he will pull on you. So you want to Feign Death right here at the bottom of the stairs and use an invisibility potion to run up. You don't need to have a normal one, you can use a lesser invisibility potion. As long as you have Cheetah on, you'll be fine. If you're in Monkey and you pop an invisibility potion and you try and change to Cheetah while you're invisible, it will break invisibility, so you don't want to do that. So we're going to lay down a Frost Trap here, or Freezing Trap rather. We're going to pull the first Reaver, stop our auto attack, and we're going to send our pet to the second one, so we get a trap off. Pet's going to fight the other one, and then we're going to use our Seaforium Charge to blow the door. It looks like my pet might die because he lost all of his skills. You really want your pet to die within line of sight, otherwise you cannot res him. So I'm going to feign here. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole run, is navigating those two guards, keeping your pet within line of sight, and getting through the door without running straight into the eye, because the eye will spawn Voidwalkers, which makes it really hard to continue. Yeah, so we're just going to hang out here and wait for the eye to come back. Once the eye's dead, we're going to pull this very first Reaver. He will pull separate from the rest of the group, so we're going to trap him and then we'll continue. So it's really important that you put your trap right at the peak of this blue square or purple square. This guy seems to miss the traps pretty often. So we got him trapped. Go back into Monkey so you don't get dazed, and we're going to scatter the Reaver, run past, same thing, we're going to wait for the Warlock's Shadow Bolt to hit us, and now it's safe to Feign Death. So you can move up to about this tile here without pulling Crom Crush, and we obviously need to wait for Feign Death to cool down, and you can see this patrol of hyenas over here. They're going to work their way over to this area where I have this mob highlighted, and then they're going to come diagonally towards us. So I have enough time on Feign Death to get by without them hitting me. If you don't, just play it safe. If you have deterrence, go ahead and pop that here. We're going to just get right around the corner and Feign Death, and you can see it put me back in combat. Unfortunately, he reset. That just unfortunately happens kind of frequently here. So since I'm back in combat, I can't feign, or I can't eat, drink, or shadow meld. So this little corner is a safe spot, even if you're not in shadow meld. I really like to get a Frost Trap down here when I pull, especially since my pet seems to have lost his skills. So I'm going to Feign Death to get out of combat, and I'm going to wait for Feign Death to cool down once again before I actually attempt this pull. In this part, you want to lay down a Freezing Trap, which puts out the Ice Slick. Frost Trap, which puts out the Ice Slick. And we're going to send our pet to this Reaver, and then we're going to send him right to Crom Crush as soon as he pulls. Normally you would use Dash here. We don't have it, so the Ice Slick slows him down just enough. And now that he's dead, we're going to feign. And another thing that's important to note, you see where those hyenas are? if I had waited about 2 or 3 seconds to feign death, they will go back into combat when they enter the slick, so you want to make sure that they're far enough away. For this part, we're going to lay down another frost trap right here at this corner, and actually we want to stay in cheetah, and as soon as this hyena goes down, we're going to multi-shot. Kiting these hyenas takes quite a bit of practice, and they do a pretty significant amount of damage. So if they happen to daze you and they're hitting you, you're better off just doing feign death, let them reset, and try again. You're not going to really be able to melee them down before they kill you. So I did get dazed there, but fortunately I know that they're going to have to go all the way around the ledge before they make their way over to me. So obviously if you only have one, you can melee them down without any problem. I'm going to go ahead and loot their corpses just so that they're not in my way while I'm kiting. Looks like I was wearing my mount gear, so you want to make sure you have all of your best gear on for this. It's just kind of a long fight, it's not really a DPS race. The more mana you have, the better. If you don't have great gear, you're probably going to need mana potions. You can even use like Sagefish Delight here to help give you some MP5. So when we pull Gordok, it's really important that we jump onto the right tile, otherwise he will charge you. And same as the hyenas, you want to make sure that you just feign death. If he charges you, just feign death, start over. You're not going to easily be able to escape. It's possible, but it's very difficult. So I also like to start this fight in Monkey. It helps with the timing quite a bit. So we're going to start standing here on this little circle. We can put up Hunter's Mark, and we're just going to start with auto shots. There's no reason to aim shot because Cho Rush usually gets a heal off. So you get 2 auto shots off, and then you want to turn around and you want to jump right at the point of this peak, and you want to stand there. And then after he starts running the other direction, you can peek out and get 1 or 2 attacks off. And then you immediately want to get Cheetah on, and here's where you start kiting. So you can just kind of jump, turn, and Serpent Sting him. One of the things to keep an eye out for when you do this kiting is that Cho lays down Earthbind totems, and it's really important that you take those out. 1 scatter shot or 1 arcane shot will take them out. And so here you can just get a few auto attacks off. When you get really comfortable, you can get 3, maybe even 4. When I first started, I was only doing 2 auto attacks. It's not a huge difference. We've got a little bit of a lead on him, so I'm going to try and get a few auto attacks off. So we'll get 1, 2. It's a little close for comfort, so I'll just do the 3rd one here at the ledge. 3. And you just keep that rotation going until he's dead. It's also really important that when you jump off the ledge on that side, that you don't go too far to the right, because that can mess up Cho's pathing, and she will come down through the center and you'll have Cho in front of you and Gordok behind you, and then you're going to need to feign death, otherwise you have about a 90% chance of ending up dead. So I always like to just stay in between these two purple diamond tiles. It usually leaves enough time to get off some autos, an aimed shot, a multi-shot, and a serpent sting. You also want to make sure that you're not hugging this wall too tightly. This little ramp here in the middle, if you're too tight to the wall, Gordok can run up there, get stuck, and reset. I've had that happen when he was as low as like 3% health, and it's just really frustrating to have to start all over. You always want to prioritize killing the Earthbind totems over getting off one auto attack. So when the totems spawn up there, the easiest thing to use is Scatter Shot. That's why it's important to keep it up. And it's also important to make sure that you keep a few hundred mana. Like I said, if you don't have great gear, you're going to find yourself running out of mana pretty quick. And it's better to just take 2 or 3 extra laps to kill Gordok than to just, you know, go out of mana or to try and force anything. So that's pretty much it. Once Gordok's dead, the little goblin or ogre over here, you'll see, runs up to the middle, and then he'll work his way down. If you have enchanting, the best thing to do is disenchant any blue items that sell for, you know, less than 3.5 gold to the vendor. You get large brilliant shards, which are pretty useful just to have on hand for enchants, but they also sell on the auction house for about 4 gold pretty reliably. So you want to talk to the ogre, get the tribute buff, the King of the Gordok buff here that makes it so that all the mobs are friendly, and then you can approach the tribute chest. So anytime that you open the chest, there will be anywhere between 2 and 6 healing potions or mana potions. I shift clicked, so you'll see that I got 2 healing potions, and same thing here. I'm going to go through and disenchant the blues that are only vendoring for, you know, 1 to 3 gold. Barrier shield is 3.5. I typically vendor it, even though I'd make maybe an extra 25 silver at the auction house. I think that's, oh, there's a green as well. I like to disenchant these so that you can get possibly Greater Eternals or Illusion Dust. And the last really important part of this is that there's several places that a Dusty Tomb can spawn, and also that treasure chest can spawn. So you can find a Dusty Tomb right here, and I'll show you the chest locations on our way out. So here's one of the locations. It's next to this captain. And there's a total of 3 tombs and 4 chests that can spawn. I've never seen 2 tombs. I have seen 2 chests, but it's extremely rare. So the next chest location is here on your way out. It would be right past this Reaver and this Warlock in this little area. And the third chest would be similar. You jump down a platform and it would be in this area next to the Doomguard minion. The other Dusty Tomb would spawn right here next to this pile of bones. And then the last tomb and the last chest are a little bit further out. So the weapons that you get from the chest vendor typically for like 4 to 6 gold. I do typically disenchant them just because you can get up to 2 Greater Eternals, which happen to be worth around like 15 to 16 gold. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I could use enchanting materials, so I usually take that risk. So the other Dusty Tomb, if it spawns around this area. So that would be the third Dusty Tomb location. The final chest actually spawns over here on, I guess this is the northeast corner of the square. So we would spawn right next to this Gordok brute, right behind him. And like I said, it's pretty rare to see more than one chest, though I would say you do see at least one chest out of the 4 spawn locations in probably 90% of the runs. The nice thing is once you have the King of the Gordok buff, you can vendor everything here without having to go back to town and clear out your inventory ever. So I'm going to go ahead and sell the rod, sell the barrier shield, and I will go ahead and disenchant this Magus Longstaff. So I got 2 Greater Eternals. So I think I started the run with around 122 gold, so I made 13 gold from vendoring. I picked up, I believe, 5 Brilliant Shards. I might have had one in my inventory already, but 5 Brilliant Shards, so that's around 20 gold, and 2 Greater Eternals is around 14 gold. So it looks like I made 13 plus 14, 27 plus 20, around 47 gold from that one run. Once you get pretty proficient at this, from door to door, or rather from door to boss, back to door, you can do it in about 20 minutes. Just make sure that before you leave the instance you res your pet, so that when you reset, you don't have to worry about getting him revived and mess up the timing of any of the patrols. Good luck.